during an interview with Vern Harnish, you mentioned that excellent businesses are weird and strange. In other words, I guess wonderful businesses are wonderful because they do business in a weird and strange way, and that is what makes them different and unique. That's what makes them grow, right? And so let's talk about this, because it's very interesting that, like you said in that video, that most people don't want to be doing that weird and unique things because other people are not doing it. Other businesses are not doing it. That was a very interesting short video. I know you spoke at that conference, but it was, to the point, and it's action-packed, video. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I mean, think about it. If somebody goes to a restaurant and has a normal meal and there's normal service and there's normal prices and they have a normal level of satisfaction, they don't talk about that. They don't look for an opportunity to go back. They don't go out of their way to have that experience again. But if somebody goes to a restaurant and has a unique experiences wonderful service, or the prices are outrageously low, or the atmosphere is outrageously interesting, or the server is outrageously good, or, and this is what we talk about in Pink Goldfish, the server is outrageously bad. I mean, there's restaurants called Ed DeBevick's and Dick's Last Resort and places like this where they deliberately treat you bad. They yell at you, they criticize you, they make fun of you, and people go to get bad service, which is what most restaurants are fighting against, right? And so they've created this niche where people want to go there. People talk about, hey, if you go there, they'll yell at you and be mean to you. And then some people don't even believe it, so they go there just to check it out. And there's this constant flow of people into a place where the food is not special, the environment's not that special. There's not a lot of other elements, but they've picked one thing that's going to cause them, instead of, we're going to be a good restaurant with good servers and good food and a good environment. Yeah, so is everybody. Everybody's trying that same thing. So what is it going to be that people are going to remember about and talk about when they have the experience? And it usually is something that's positive, but also negative. Oh, it was very good, but it was very expensive. Okay. Well, there are people who will make the trade-off to spend a lot of money to have a good experience. Well, the food was fine, but it was also very, very cheap, or very, very fast, or very, very whatever, right? So In-N-Out Burger in America has a very limited menu, and they're very successful because they only serve a few things. You can't get a chicken sandwich. You can't get a salad. They only serve burgers. They only serve them a couple ways. They only serve a few drinks. And their menu hasn't changed for like 70 years. And people talk about that. Oh, I was at this place and they only have 5 things on the menu. I was at this place and it was really fast. I was at this place and you only have a few options. I was at this place and everything moves very quickly. So yeah, at some point what we do when we're building our business, and we look around and go, all the other businesses in my industry seem to be wearing blue and have blue on their signs and blue on their uniforms, so I guess blue is the way to go. No, that's exactly the opposite. It's blue is not the way to go, because then no one's going to see you and they're just going to keep going with everybody who's already there because they already have a head start on you. So, but that's not the instinct. The instinct is to look around and say, what is everybody else doing? And they must be doing it because it's working, and that's also a huge mistake. It must be working. Well, you don't know that. Google is experiencing some really significant competition from ChatGPT, not because ChatGPT is a better search engine, but because ChatGPT is not a search engine at all. Right? And so if you were trying to beat Google by having a better search engine and Microsoft couldn't, nobody was using Bing. And now people are headed towards Bing because of its integration with ChatGPT. And now Google's trying to catch up to that, but Microsoft didn't ultimately end up beating them, or maybe they end up beating them by fighting the same game. You have to play a different game. You have to start a different business. You have to, in a sense, sometimes start a different industry. Just being another restaurant in a row of 20 restaurants, just being another cleaning service provider on a list of 20 service providers, that's not going to get you where you need to go. And I think Microsoft's a great story. People love to make fun of Microsoft for not being cool. They love to make fun of Microsoft for having a terrible phone that never went anywhere. They love to make fun of Bing. They love to make fun of Bill Gates and how nerdy he is and how uncool he is. And they love to compare him to Steve Jobs and how cool he was. And they love to compare him to Apple and how cool Apple was. But what people forget is Microsoft is still kicking butt. Microsoft is still making billions of dollars. Microsoft is still inside of almost every major corporation today. They're using Outlook, and they're running PCs, and they're using Microsoft Word, and they're using there's companies who run on Microsoft Excel spreadsheets, right? Yeah. And so what Microsoft does well, and what a lot of people don't realize that makes them different, is they'll make one of everything. Whatever there is, they've got a cloud solution. They've got a spreadsheet solution. They've got an Xbox. They've got a video game solution, and their Xbox broke through. They'll make one of anything, and a lot of times it'll turn out to be total garbage, but other times like the Xbox, and so that's what they have. They have one of everything. And so when you're a corporation and you're like, well, I guess it's time to go to the cloud, they're like, we can help you with that. It might not be as good as Dropbox. It might not be as good as iCloud. It might not be good as fill in the blank, but it's an integrated solution with so they have 8,000 different products that most normal people will never even know about or experience. And so they get criticized for exactly what makes them successful is they'll make one of anything, and maybe it'll be mediocre, but it'll integrate and fit with what companies are already doing. It's the safe choice, and they'll do great. And they'll just keep being a subscription part. I mean, look at how many people are subscribed to Office 365 right now. They get made fun of for not being cool, not being cutting edge, not being hip, but they always have one of what everybody needs, and they've been tremendously successful for a very, very long time, and they just did it again. They bought Minecraft. They bought ChatGPT. They're constantly in the game. They're not worried about being the winner every time, though, and that's what's made them successful.
That's a great example because I wanted to ask if you've seen that put into place in a bigger corporation and